Beta and Alexia also see the news about Rose. The Oriana Kingdom wanted to settle this internal matter secretly and forbade the Midgar Kingdom from interfering. Rose is a Midgar Academy student and she should be punished here. But if the punishment is carried out, the relationship between the two countries, Oriana and Midgar, will become even more chaotic because Oriana has forbidden Midgar. Rose's fiancé is Doam, a prime minister in the kingdom of Oriana. They will strictly punish Rose because her actions have harmed the country. Beta says that Rose definitely hasn't gone far from the Oriana Kingdom. Alexia doesn't understand what Rose is doing, and Alexia's father or the king of Midgar is also just observing this situation. Alexia is already annoyed with her father because he and Iris prefer peace without solving any problems. However, Alexia remains suspicious of the Oriana Kingdom, which does not allow the Midgar Kingdom to interfere. Alexia plans to find and capture Rose first before the Oriana Kingdom does. She wants Rose to tell her what made Rose act like this. Then Beta said that Alexia shouldn't look for Oriana first. They should look for more information and not think to act rashly. Then Alexia scolds Beta and is about to kill her, because Beta deliberately lets this matter take longer and thinks Alexia is stupid. Then Beta pretends to be weak and shows her cute face, so that Alexia doesn't kill her. Alexia says she is very upset because Rose broke their friendship agreement then. Rose acted alone and as if she didn't need friends to solve her problems. Beta says Rose likely doesn't want to get Beta and Alexia involved, because it will worsen the two countries' situation. But Alexia still wants to do what she has in mind because Rose is her friend and Beta. Then Beta decides to find out more about Doam and the Oriana Kingdom. Beta knows Doam has dark rumors behind his rule in the Oriana Kingdom. After hearing that, Alexia will try to discuss this with Iris, her unstable sister, who cannot distinguish between evil and good. After Alexia left, Beta chatted with one of the Shadow Garden members. Beta decides to leak Alexia a bit of information later. Alexia is a stubborn girl, and Beta is very bothered by her behavior. If Alexia could get information from Beta, she would definitely think calmly and not act rashly. Then a Shadow Garden member said Rose was in an underground aqueduct in the city. Rose hid there because the place was very difficult for the knights chasing her. It took a long time to get into the underground aqueduct.
逃走中、胸を押さえる様子を複数回確認。
After Alexia spoke to Iris, Iris rushed to the Oriana Kingdom to discuss this matter. Iris also reported on the security plans for the main War God Festival next week. The Kingdom of Midgar prepared for this because King Oriana and Doam were coming to the festival. But Doam says that King Oriana doesn't need security members from the Kingdom of Midgar. After all, there won't be chaos when the main War God Festival comes later. Then Iris said that the situation in the Oriana Kingdom was very different from the news received by the Midgar Kingdom. Doam said that the news was exaggerated and that the Oriana Kingdom would take matters into their own hands. After all, King Oriana also agreed with Doam's decision. Then Iris felt annoyed and knew there was something strange about King Oriana.
ド M ケツハットの申すようにせよ。
姫様のご心労はお察しします。
Then Sid started reading the news about Rose in detail through today's newspaper. Sid just found out that Rose has a fiancé, and this incident really caught Sid's attention. This was crazy for him since Rose was a princess from a kingdom. Sid thinks that Rose might be looking for something. By the way, Sid is watching the qualifiers with his friend, the gambler Hiyoro. He wants Sid to fund this gambling match because the money he will get will be abundant. Of course, Sid ignored his friend. He was focused on cool things as a shadow in this tournament. After that, Sid quietly walked away and disguised himself as Jimina. The next match had already started, but Sid crosses paths with an elf girl, and the elf girl feels that Sid recognizes her little sister. She smelled Sid's scent, similar to that of an elf. Sid says that he has some elf friends. The girl says that she wants Sid to hint which elf girl looks like her. Her sister was very beautiful, sweet, an orphan, and much like the elf girl. When the elf girl opened her hood, Sid was surprised because she looked like Alpha. But Sid purposely didn't tell the elf girl, and suddenly she wanted to stab Sid in the neck. Of course, Sid pretended to be weak as a minor character, as usual. Then the elf girl apologized to Sid, and she wanted to know his name. Elf girl felt Sid was strong, so she attacked him just now. After they got to know each other, it turned out that the elf girl was Beatrix with extraordinary powers. Then there was a moment of silence because Beatrix was still holding Sid's hand. She says that Sid has a good hand, and she's sure that Sid will be the strongest person.
驚かせてごめん。
結構強いかな。
On the other hand, it turns out that Anarose and Quint also want to see Jimina's match. They were curious about his strength because Jimina's fight was too short and fast. They admit that Jimina is a great mysterious figure, but they don't know what method he uses to defeat his enemy. Then Quinn guessed that Anarose, a 7 swordsman of Oriana, would be able to figure out what movements Jimina was making. Anarose said that she had discarded the nickname. Anarose said that Jimina uses a speed that normal people cannot see. Even Anarose, who could read the opponent's movements, couldn't see it clearly either. But Anarose noticed that Jimina's right hand was moving very quickly. Then Quinn thought that Jimina was deliberately using a forbidden artifact. Anarose agrees with Quinn's opinion because Jimina's power is still mysterious. He was going to fight Goldo today, and Anarose was sure she could read Jimina's moves. Goldo never lost in the God of War match, so he was nicknamed the Unbeaten Legend. But Goldo didn't want to be called that and called himself the Victorious Golden Dragon. Anarose said that Goldo was the cowardly knight type. Anarose had met 3 times in previous tournament matches, but Goldo ran away because he was sure he would lose if he fought Anarose. Goldo got the nickname Unbeaten Legend because he only wants to fight enemies he can beat. Goldo is going up against Jimina today, and the nickname Unbeaten Legend is at stake. Goldo was sure that he would win against Jimina because Jimina looked weak. Goldo can predict the certainty of victory because he can measure battle power. If Goldo felt threatened in today's match, he could definitely take his opponent seriously. So far, Goldo has never been serious about fighting every enemy in a match. When the match started, Goldo immediately attacked Jimina, but suddenly, Jimina's movement was very slow, but Goldo felt an attack hit him. Goldo doesn't understand Jimina's strength, and Jimina should be able to beat Goldo with such a chance. Goldo felt belittled by Jimina because Jimina's movements were too simple in fighting. Goldo was angry and started to bring out his true power on Jimina. Of course, the audience was shocked because it was the first time Goldo had demonstrated this power. Goldo says that he will give Jimina good memories, but when Goldo attacks Jimina again, everyone was surprised to see Jimina's very strange way of fighting. Anarose said that Jimina's only movement was cracking his neck and sneezing. Quinn was shocked because there was no way such a fighting style could win this match. But Anarose says that it was Jimina who did that, and this is reality. She saw that Jimina had accidentally cracked his neck and suddenly dodged Goldo's attack, whereas the last Goldo's extraordinary attack was defeated by sneezing. Quinn doesn't believe in Anarose's analysis. Dragon magic power can be defeated by just sneezing. According to Anarose, Jimina doesn't look for or analyze other people's weaknesses because he can attack his opponent from anywhere. Then Quinn is very annoyed with Anarose's ridiculous explanation, so Quinn will prove it in the next match. Quinn will definitely reveal Jimina's way of fighting, and Quinn is sure that Jimina is using a forbidden artifact. Anarose was amazed by Jimina because it was the first time she had seen a match like this. Even Anarose was obsessed with this Jimina's fighting style. After Quinn's match against Jimina, of course, Jimina wins ridiculously. The audiences were surprised because Jimina's power was mysterious and strange. If he could defeat multiple enemies like this, it meant that how he fought wasn't just a fluke. Jimina was able to enter the main fight of this God of War, and some audiences also didn't accept Jimina's way of fighting. Some audiences who gamble are also confused about making a choice. In the main match, Iris, Beatrix, and Anarose will be the gamblers' idols, but they also have to consider Jimina's odds as a gambling win later. By the way, Hiyoro is almost bankrupt because his gambling money is almost gone. He has never won and asks Jaga to help fund his gambling. Of course, Jaga, who was in his hometown, refused Hiyoro's request. Then Anarose met Jimina directly. She didn't expect that Jimina would be able to step into the main battle of the God War. Anarose marveled at Jimina's rare ability, but she wasn't going to let Jimina pull off another ridiculous fighting style later. Anarose will win the match against Jimina. After hearing that, Jimina just smiled and left from there. Of course, Anarose stopped Jimina because he didn't respond to Anarose's words. Then Jimina was very happy with Anarose's response, and Jimina said while doing something that made Anarose nervous against him.
遊びは終わりだ。この重りは俺を封じる鎖。
But Anarose remains convinced that she will win and Jimina won't be able to use his previous fighting style.
そうか。あの人何がしたかったんだろう。
On the other hand, it turns out that the Oriana Knights managed to get into the underground aqueduct. They were still chasing after Rose and fighting with her. Rose was forced to injure one of the knights, and she told the knight to heal the wound as soon as possible. Rose also deliberately didn't attack his vital parts, and Rose immediately left the Oriana Knights' pursuit.